giving me an affectionate squeeze. No more living in fear of getting robbed on our doorstep or dealing with gas leaks every other week. This is our home now. I beamed up at him, my worries about mortgages and maintenance costs temporarily forgotten. For the first time in years, I allowed myself to feel the uninhibited hope of new beginnings. The front door opened, and Dion's voice filled the house. "Trish, come meet the neighbors." "Trish, come meet the neighbors." I plastered a smile. No. I plastered on a smile and stepped outside, the summer heat immediately wrapping around me like a thick blanket. Dion stood on our new driveway with a couple, possibly in their 40s, both impeccably dressed despite the sweltering temperature. "This is my wife, Trish," Dion said, his arms snaking around my waist. "Trish, these are the Smiths. They live right next door." Mrs. Smith stepped forward, her pearl necklace glinting in the sun. Her handshake was firmer than necessary, and her tight smile was definitely forced. "It's wonderful to meet you, Trish. We've been looking forward to having new neighbors." Let me see. Her tight smile was definitely forced. "It's wonderful to meet you, Trish. We've been looking forward to having new neighbors." "It's been, what, a year since anyone's lived in that old house?" Mr. Smith chimed in, his gaze in... Let me stop it there. His gaze lingering in on our front door a beat too long. "Glad to see a young couple bring some life back into it." A year? That seemed like a long time for a house to sit empty in a neighborhood like this. Before I could ask about it, Mrs. Smith clapped her hands together with a sound like a gunshot. Wait, does that make sense? Mrs. Smith clasped her hands together with a sound like a gunshot. Okay. Where was I? Oh. Mrs. Smith clasped her hands together. Oh my gosh. Let's go back. Where is it? Mrs. Smith clasped her hands together with a sound like a gunshot. "Well, we mustn't keep you. Moving is such hard work." Her eyes scanned over me, taking in every detail. "Why don't you two come over for dinner tomorrow night, once you've had a chance to settle in a bit?" Dion, ever the social butterfly, agreed before I could even open my mouth. The Smiths said their goodbyes and retreated to their own home next door to ours. I watched them go, a nagging feeling of wrongness growing with every step they took. "They seem nice," Dion said, as we headed back inside. Okay, let's see.